ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another fun-filled episode of the CryptoManiacs podcast. Basically, we call this Music on Leo podcast nowadays because Task got some juicy stuff for us. But before we get into all the juiciness, as our custom is, we have to check in on the good sir, see how his weekend was, because I know that he basically did nothing but music on Leo. Is my crystal ball accurate or no?
Yeah, you're not far off. I mean, music on Leo and other Leo glossary stuff. Yep, that about sums it up. I did listen to the CTT podcast while doing music on Leo. So, yeah, that's about
Perfect.
sums it up. Your crystal ball was accurate on that one.
Oh, man, dude, I can tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl next. But yeah,
well,
so
I can tell you who's going to win, but I can tell you who's not going to be in it: the New York Football Giants. But anyway,
yes.
No need to go into that train wreck.
Not yet. So fun times. We do have some questions. We do have some VSC questions from the audience, especially Tokenized. Really excited about it. Really wants to ask some questions. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to dive into people's questions first and then get in?
Let's do music on Leo, and then you can monitor the conversation and any questions that come in about music on Leo or on anything else, VSC or anything. Then we can work those in. But
gotcha.
I think this is all part of an ongoing development, business building story. And let me ask you before I start.
Yes, sir.
Because you and I, we had a guest on Thursday. We really haven't had a chance to speak. So what did you think about last Tuesday's announcement on our show? What do you think about what I presented with Music on Leo? What were your thoughts as I unveiled things during that broadcast?
I mean, I liked it so much that I went and registered DJ Django as a new Hive account. Paid for it to get premium as well. So I have two premium accounts on Leo now. I have this the John G. Olsen account and the DJ Django account, which was not my Django is a Hive thing, right? So I can't relive my teenage years and come up with my other DJ handle. So yeah. No,
you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. So don't worry. DJ Django is going to rise from the ashes. I promise you.
I mean, it got me definitely interested, and even so much so that I was thinking of different ways that, I put the question on. Me and Shane were going back and forth this weekend about, how can we, plug into the book community on Hive and do book reviews and all sorts. But the spearheading of it is really exciting to think about, just because, like you said, and we saw it. Lisa, one of the CTP members, she mentioned yesterday on Leo that what's the point of Spotify? And I think that's like big picture thinking. That's exactly what we're talking about, and what want to speak of Lisa.
I put out today, my first goal is to work hard enough on Music on Leo to get Lisa to the point where she can cancel her Spotify premium. Once I see that, then it's like, okay, we're on a roll here. Okay, let's just jump right in. I'm glad you're so excited, and hopefully this will take it to another level. And I'm in a corner here, so seeing what I wrote down.
No one puts baby in a corner. No.
Yeah, they don't put baby in a corner, but I get stuck in the corner. So basically, what we're going to do is let's look at the backdrop. And basically, what we're doing is we're taking a mess, we're centralizing it, then we're decentralizing it, and that's the process. And let me explain. The mess is threads. We know when we put a thread up, after about 10 or 15 threads placed on top on the latest feed, we're buried. That thread's gone forever. Right. It might show up on the For You somewhere, but after a day, it's gone forever. So with Music on Leo, the songs are actually threads. So people submit the songs via threads, and I capture. So I'm capturing the mess, and then I put it into different spreadsheets. What I have is I have 3 text documents that I work: A through G, H through M, N through Z. Then I have 2 spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet is the 3 text documents just put on a spreadsheet. I do that for a couple of reasons. One is backup in case the text documents get nuked. There's the spreadsheet. It's not Excel, it's Open Office, but there's a spreadsheet. And the second thing, more importantly, is to count, because I'm keeping a count of these, and I'm not going to count lines on a text document, but on the spreadsheet, the rows are all there, so we know how many songs we have. So that is how these are captured. And Django, if you would bring up image or page number 1
Yes, sir.
in our show and tell.
Oh my gosh. Please hold. Yeah.
Now we get to the technical part of the show.
Yeah. Let's go right here. Is that the one you're looking for?
I can't see it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, is that the
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
and
music.
just disclaimer: I'm doing the white backdrops. All you night mode people and dim mode people, you'll have to put up with me. This is how I like things, and I know people. Oh, my eyeballs. Be like Task, wear sunglasses. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Django is certain his authority. He's got control of the button. So anyway, what this is one of the 3 pages that is my text document, and I copy it and put it right on line. So if you scroll down a little bit, John, you see right there it says A through H through M, and then N through Z. If you you don't have to, but if you had clicked on them, that would open up the other pages. So each of my text documents has a page on the blockchain. Now, if you would scroll down to Aerosmith and read what it says next to Aerosmith.
Singles page.
Okay, this is the gist of this entire conversation. Pages, and the value of pages. Would you open up image number 2?
Yes, sir. And we will go to image number 2. Hey, look at Steven.
And this is a page. So now when you went to Aerosmith, if you had clicked on it, you opened the image, because if you clicked on it, open up a new tab. This is the singles page. Now, if you scroll to the bottom quickly, it's a little misleading, because what I did is I added the albums too. I just did a quick search and put the albums there. Wealth West is doing albums. So if there is an album that is done on Music on Leo, it would be linked here. But if you scroll up, there's all the singles that are in our database relating to Aerosmith. Now, if you could bring up image number 3.
Image number 3. Coming up, sir. I am a professional when it comes to this. I'm telling you. Okay.
Okay. What this is one of the songs. So if we had clicked on the Aerosmith page on the song, what song is this anyway?
Fly Away From Here.
Okay. If Django had clicked on Fly Away From Here, this would come up. Now, why I brought this page up is I want to point something out. The idea is to take these threads, which tend to float off in Never Never Land, and try to link them up and connect them as much as we can. So if you look under the video, what does it say there, Django?
Aerosmith singles.
Aerosmith singles. What I did is, because I knew there was a singles page set up when I was submitting this, I then, as I copied the embed code into the thread, and then underneath, I typed in Aerosmith singles, and then I put the link back to the singles page. So if somebody is listening to this song and they presumably like Aerosmith, and they maybe want to listen to more Aerosmith, they can click on the button underneath the link and go right to the Aerosmith page. Again, the super overriding view of this is page views, page views, page views, page views. We want people clicking around. We want people using this instead of Spotify. We want the page views. We want those counters that are on each page going up, because this is all part of ad revenue. So anything we can do to add value to these threads, to these single thread pages, is what we want. Can you bring up number 4?
Yes, sir. And for people that are listening to this, because we do have a lot of replays, not necessarily the video version, but the audio version of this, you might want to find the video version of this on Hive, on 3Speak, on YouTube, just so you get the context of it, because it's a little hard to explain without the video, I would say.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
There we go. Okay, we're here. Artists, music pages.
Yes, and if
that
you
is
scroll
Def
down,
Leppard, isn't it?
What's that?
That's Def Leppard.
I don't know who it is, actually.
I bet you it is. I think it is.
I just grabbed a band page. But anyway, so if you scroll down a little bit, you see a list of all these artists.
Very nice.
These are all the artists so far who've had individual pages set up for them, just like Aerosmith. Now, the reason why I bring this up is a twofold purpose. The first thing is, this is a good page to bookmark, because as more artist pages are added, they will show up here. The other reason is from a process standpoint. Remember when I said, when you were on the main page there, John, the main music singles page, and I said, go to Aerosmith, and it said singles page, then you clicked on the Aerosmith page.
Right.
And there were a bunch of songs. If those songs were in the spreadsheet, that would be 20 different rows in a spreadsheet. And as you can imagine, with database management, that gets to be a nightmare. So what we have right now is there are about 850 rows of songs in my spreadsheet. As soon as an artist page is set up, all the songs that are moved over to the artist page, they're removed from the spreadsheet, plus any new songs that come in for the artist do not even enter the spreadsheet. They go immediately to the blockchain and to the page. There's now over, with these 30 some odd artists here, there's over 600 songs on the blockchain that are not in the database. That's 600 rows of songs that I don't have to do anything with. So as you can see, we're quickly getting to the point where the songs outside of my spreadsheet are going to actually be larger than the songs within it. Because as people start to add more songs related to each artist, and as we add more artists, I mean, you can imagine if we have 150 artists with an average of 15 songs a piece, I mean, that's, 2,200 songs. So this is the artist page. Now,
very nice.
This is the good stuff. As I said, pages open up an entirely new realm for us. And a lot of this is monotonous. A lot of this may sound a little bit boring. Why is Task going through this? Because it's leading up to something that I believe people have been talking about. They've been questioning. And also, I think this will change Leo, at least part of Leo, and the Evergreen completely. We have a lot of people who say, I'm not a content creator. I'm not like Task. I'm not like Django. I don't have 1,000 articles over the last 4 years on Leo. I can't write long form content. I'm not eligible for Evergreen. Okay, we solve that. We solve some issues. We bring some solutions. Django, bring up, what is it, number 6?
Number 5. You got. Or
Can
do you
we
want
just,
6? You want
can
5 or
we,
6?
what did we just do? Let me,
Well, that was artist music pages. Then actually got Christmas singles.
oh, yeah, bring that up. Bring that up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, bring the Christmas singles up. I can't see my notes here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Look at the
This is
picture.
what I'm talking about with pages.
Yeah.
This is a specialty page I threw together. There's over 60 Christmas songs on here.
Hmm.
Just a page. Somebody can bookmark. We can pass it around. Anybody wants to listen to Christmas music, tis the season. Most everybody likes Christmas songs. Even a Grinch like Django. He likes
Yeah.
to listen to occasional Christmas songs.
Well, you don't have Run DMC, Christmas in Hollis. Like, what's going on?
No, we got Easy E down below, though. So
Do you have Easy E as a
you
Christmas
got to
song?
scroll down. It was added later, and I didn't add it to the main section. If you see, it's I forget who I added. Somebody threw it up. They sort of listed. They said you're missing this, and
Rest in peace, Eric Wright. Wow.
you know, formatting that. But
Wow.
yeah, so we can create these specialty pages, and this is what I've said. The thing about a database is once it's in there, you can start to just use it and repurpose it for more and more purposes. So here's Christmas. Now for the good stuff, go ahead, John. Go. Let's unleash the big elephant in the room.
The beast. The Kraken. We're going to release the Kraken. Please hold. My abilities here are getting better. There we go.
And would you please read that?
Leo Glossary playlists, December 2023.
People ask, can we do playlists? After some brainstorming, after some discussions, yes. So what we have is we have my Bing AI generated image there, so no copyright infringement. And then you'll notice there's a couple playlists there.
Oh, look at DJ Django. Wow.
One of them, what I did is I asked Django and I asked West to send me a list of 15 songs that were in the database. They gave me artist and song, and I told them, I said, give me 15 songs that you would, if you were going to put together a playlist, what would you do? And I said, select from the database, and they did. And go ahead, John, click on your playlist there, and you'll have to do your, I didn't send it to you, so you'll have to do your.
Very nice.
You'll have to do your.
The playlist. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, it's a full link. Okay, gotcha. I clicked on my name. Please hold. Okay, it opens up a new window. So
yeah, you have to do. Now, while you're messing around with the technicals, that says playlist December. The expectation is there's going to be a January and a February. What that is that's a repository where people can submit the playlist. So what we have is we have my AI generated thing, the image there. Scroll down and you see the songs that Django submitted. Now, what I did is I took his list, I threw it through ChatGPT. I said, give me some information on these songs. And that's what it came back with. I copied it, I threw it in there, and I linked the songs. So now Django has a playlist of these songs. He can simply click on the link.
I just like, if I knew you were doing this, I would have been a little bit more savvy.
No,
like I would have just thrown random songs at you. Like,
it's a mix. No, this is actually great because if you notice in the title, I said mix. And we could have mix. You could have classic rock. You could have opera. You could have country. You could have hip hop. You could have rhythm and blues. You could have Dixieland, whatever you want. And the goal is to get these playlists going because people said, well, can we share them? So what Django has is scroll down to the bottom, Django,
Yep.
and you got the little ribbon there. Bookmark this. So Django can bookmark it for himself. Django can take this now and he can take and put this on Facebook. It is now on the Leo Glossary playlist list. So if somebody wants to go through that list and see what Django has, they can click on it, open it up, and listen. So now we have the ability to create playlists, share playlists, post them on social media, do that type of thing. Now, what I would suggest is take the link to this playlist, John, and put it on Threads and use the hashtag playlist. The reason being is, as I said before, we want to try to capture this stuff in as many different ways as possible. There's now 15 threads, 15 songs that are captured by Django's playlist. If Django bookmarked it, which he just did, now there's another access point to these 15 songs. If he takes this and throws it out on Twitter, if he throws it out on Facebook, if he throws it on Reddit or whatever he does with Instagram, he texts it to his best friend, whatever he does, that is another resource or another avenue to these songs. So this is what we're looking at setting up. So we keep growing the database of music, then we create the playlist. So where does this go from here? This is for the community. Couple suggestions that I have. First off, unless you don't care about your blog, and this is why I said DJ Django was going to come out of the ashes. Obviously, John G. Olson doesn't want this on his blog. But DJ Django could have dozens or hundreds of playlists on his blog. So I would suggest A, use an alternate account.
Right.
B, decline rewards. This is not about rewards. This is about long term. This is about your brand. This is about getting evergreen content, because this playlist will be as valid 15 months from now as it is today. It'll be valid 3 years from now as it is today. A year and a half from now, Django can grab this playlist and throw it on Facebook and say, this is what I'm listening to right now.
Right.
So now the community has the ability. I'm not a content creator. Fine. Can you create playlists? Do you like music?
Right.
And if you say, well, none of the music there is what I like, guess what? Submit your damn music. It's an open database. Submit it. It'll be grabbed. Send it to the Music on Leo tag. I'll grab it. I'll get it into the database. We'll get it on the blockchain, and people can set up whatever they want. Now, another thought that I had, another suggestion. Let's say you get 4, 5, 6 of these playlists made. And so you have a playlist of 10, 15, 20 songs, whatever, and you have 4 other playlists. Guess what you do? You take the links to those playlists and you put it at the bottom of this playlist. Why? Because if somebody likes your playlist and says, hey, this is a pretty good playlist, maybe they'll like some of the others that you create. And again, that's what gets the linking going on. That's what gets the ability to keep these threads safe and make sure they don't get lost, because we have lots and lots of ways to find them. And by the way, so if you use playlists on your playlist, Leo does have search. So if Django sends this out and he does use the tag playlist, even if with it being in the name, if he goes to his profile and types in playlist in the search, this will come up. So there is some search on Leo, which will help people locate things. So we want to use as many of these mechanisms as we can, because we want people bouncing around. We want them sharing playlists. We want them using playlists. We want them clicking on the songs and open up the threads, because that's all page views.
So this is, and free compliments put it in the threadcast, and I think it's brilliant. And what they mentioned here, excuse me, collecting links is the start of a beautiful playlist concept. But the way that, and obviously this is like you said, MVP type stuff, and this is just to get it going. But imagine some savvy person out there in Leoland creates some type of application, or I don't even know what they could do, where all you had to do was input data into a page or a form, and then it spits these things out. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
because right now it's all done by hand, right? Like
yeah,
to
well, I
create
mean,
these pages is literally, you got to do it, right? But
yeah, this is all created by hand because first off, the data has to be put in, and we're manually put it in with threads. And then yes, creating the page is a manual concept. But the great thing is once it's done, it's done. Now, here's another thing. This is a blog post.
right.
So anybody can edit a blog post. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it. I wouldn't change it. I'd just do another one and I copy and paste over the same thing and change the few songs that I wanted. But if somebody wants to change the songs and swap some out, they can do that because
Right.
it's a blog post. The more of these pages that you have, the more chance people will see it. The more of these pages that you have is the more chance they will be to spread it. Yeah, I can't speak for anything that's going on with the UI. I can't speak for anything that's going on in terms of further development. As I said, my goal is to start harassing Cal at about 2,500 songs. And then I'll turn it up the heat a little bit when we're at about 5,000 songs. And by 10,000 songs, I'm going to be screaming at the motherfucker.
Nice.
Because at that point, then I think we can make a case. Hey, the community's into this. Look at all the playlists. Look at all the songs. Look at what the community's doing. Why don't we have on the left-hand side music on Leo and, where somebody goes in and then the features that Free Compliments is talking about is right there. But shout out to Free Compliments because going back to those artist pages, and this is why I've been telling people, send a batch of the same of songs from the same artist and Free Compliments, almost all, if not all of the Doors page is his because he just kept hitting the doors. And after about 4 or 5, I set up the page. And every time he sent more Doors songs in, I just grabbed them and I threw them right on the page. I didn't even put them into my database. It just went all directly to the blockchain. And now if you're a Doors fan, you click on it, you're going to see Free Compliments because, as I said, whatever number songs are up there, 14, 15, 16, I mean, there may be 1 or 2 that aren't his, but that's about it.
So, but you want, like, this is the big picture. Let's pull back and look at long term here. If you start, like, for example, the Doors is great example. Doors, one of the most legendary bands in the history of music. I mean, it doesn't matter what age, what generation, everyone knows the Doors to some extent. Jim Morrison was an icon, the rock and roll story. So people will go find the Doors. So what big picture thinking is, you want to have your account tied to these digital real estate pieces for that long-term evergreen reward structures that's coming with Leo. Is that, like, pulling back, looking big picture? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes, not exactly directly like that, because don't forget, unless something changes, Evergreen is not available on Threads. Evergreen is only on long form content.
Oh, right. Okay.
But by Free Compliments, basically monopolizing up to this point the Doors. Anybody who goes through and starts playing the Doors music is going to see Free Compliments. They just can't help but see him. Now, all of a sudden, he's on their radar. Now, if Free Compliments also has playlists, if Free Compliments also has other things, Now, all of a sudden, when somebody clicks on Free Compliments account, guess what? They're at his page. Maybe they follow him. Now, maybe they start to see his playlist. Now, maybe they start to see him all over the place. Maybe he developed a playlist a day for 180 days. He has 180 different playlists.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, these people are on his content. Now they're in his realm. So not only is this generating more ad revenue because they're going through the threads, which feeds the ad revenue pool. It doesn't feed Evergreen, but it does feed ad revenue. And because we know threads have ads on them as of yesterday. And so the big picture, John Go, is traffic. It's activity. It's people on Leo using Leo. It's people on Leo clicking around. It's these click counts going up on these pages, even though they're only on a 30-day cycle. So we need to get the lifetime counter working. But that's another situation for another day. Also, and I'll give you another insight, maybe into next Tuesday's show. We'll see if it works. But see, I put forth a thread, and underneath the song, I embedded the code and I put a poll. Each of these songs can have a poll. That's why I say adding value to the thread. So now all of a sudden you got the song and you have a poll underneath. Imagine that. The problem is polls are spotty at best, if not working at worst. So I haven't been doing anything, and we'll see what the UI and the nodes and all that crap is doing next week. So I mean, it may not be anything that we talk about for a couple of weeks till the technical side of things is done. But the idea is to keep linking all this information together, to keep pulling this information together, keep putting more data in the database, growing the value of the database. And hopefully, the Leo UI or somebody else takes this and says, let's create something that's more intuitive. The other thing with these playlists, get creative. Django, you do a lot of stuff with Canva. Create images. Work with color patterns. Work with different not fonts. What the hell is it called? Like your Time Roman and your Arial, whatever that's called. Is that font? Whatever. Work with different things. Get creative. See what you can do with some AI generated imagery and hyperlinks, and maybe your songs are accessed by to listen to a song. Click on image and you hyperlink the song via an image. People can get creative with this stuff and bring some innovation. I mean, personally, for me, because of time, I just went with something simple. But this is up to individuals to get as creative as they want.
It's funny when you talk about this, and obviously the ideas are floating in my head, and Eric and Lisa will laugh at this because it'll be a blast from the past in CTP history. But Task, are you familiar with Foursquare by any chance?
Foursquare or Foursquare?
Foursquare. Foursquare.
I've heard of it. I can't tell you what it is.
This was like geo-targeting back in the day, and it was this social media hype probably a decade ago or something. And the whole idea was you wanted to be a king of a certain property in the real world. So the more times you checked in with your phone, if you were at the local Starbucks, you would become the king of that Starbucks, and people would fight to check in every day. It was this whole big, huge thing in social media for a bit. It kind of went by the wayside, but we created something in the Click Track Profit community called Citizens, which was the exact same idea of people checking in to become the king or take ownership, not ownership of the website, but if they became the king of the website, they get a nice little badge. And we had ideas of implementing it where people would get little discounts if they were the mayor. Exactly, Shane. Yeah, the mayor was in Foursquare. We did the kings in Citizens. And I'm just thinking, just throwing things in my head here, like how cool would that be if, for whatever down the road, that you can get evergreen rewards of some kind inside of the threads like this, and then someone just like the Doors, someone is the king or the mayor or whatever of the Doors pages, and then they are getting all that traffic, and they're generating ad revenue, they're creating evergreen content revenue. It's just like you could gamify this so much, and mind blowing to me to think of what you can put a game layer on top of this that would have more people wanting to create playlists, more people wanting to add songs, and it would be a community effort.
It doesn't even go that far. These are tools. Think of it this way, and we'll use the Doors. What if Free Compliments starts to put together Doors playlists, different from what we have? Because you said, I mean, there's 15 songs. I mean, the Doors have hundreds of songs. Right. I mean, Led Zeppelin, I did a Led Zeppelin page. There's probably 40, 45 songs on there. And there's tons more Led Zeppelin songs. But let's say over time, Free Compliments just keeps putting up Doors stuff, that the page that I set up, the artist page has, 75, 80, 90 Doors songs on it. Right. And he decides that he's going to do a Doors playlist, maybe on a particular era of the Doors, the early stuff. And so he does that. But then what happens if Free Compliments decides to write an article on Leo about the Doors and links his playlists, or playlists, plural, at the bottom of the article? What if he does a playlist and he links his article? These are different ways that you can start to use different aspects of these websites and just keep this linking process and cross-pollination process going. And then you start to throw stuff out. You start to thread about it. And, here's another thing. There's a comment section. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens if we haven't even talked about using the comment section for stuff where, okay, the thread's out there, it's posted. Maybe once the polls work, instead of trying to throw them in the thread, we just throw polls in the comment sections. But again, what if Free Compliments, because he knows he's making up the majority of the Doors singles page, what if he went around and on every one of those songs in the comment section, he put a link back to the singles page, knowing damn well anybody who clicks through, if they go back to the Doors singles page, they're going to end up on his threads. They're going to see his name again. And yes, maybe at some point the ad revenue evergreen policy changes and includes threads. I think that would be a worthwhile suggestion. Actually, I think it's a viable suggestion with what we're creating. It really wasn't a viable suggestion before, because threads are lost. And, even if you search for them, who really cares? I mean, do I really care what Django wrote 2 weeks ago? Does Django really care what I wrote 2 weeks ago? Whether it's about Bitcoin, whether it's about Hive, whether it's about whatever, who gives a crap? I mean, I don't care what he wrote about the bills 2 weeks ago. And nobody does, because it was 2 weeks ago. Not even Django cares, because it was 2-week-old information. But with this stuff, it's like, well, now we have something that, okay, Free Compliments put up 150 Doors songs, and he put up 100 Pink Floyd songs, and he put up 100 Led Zeppelin songs, and 100 Beatles songs, and he covered like some of the most historic songs in rock history, and he's getting a lot of views. That there should be something to that. But at a minimum, even as it stands now, and we'll just go with what we have. We can surmise all we want, but that may just not come true. We do know if there are those 400 songs, no matter who puts them up, if there's traffic flowing around, they are going to get activity, because the 400 most classic rock songs are going to get activity if music on Leo starts to take off. And that helps all of us who are holding Leo power. That helps all of us who are holding Leo. So these are just some of the things that we need to take a look at. And again, these are tools. Use your innovation, use your creativity. What do you want to put on your playlist? It's totally up to you. I mean, you don't have to follow my outline here. And the other thing is, if you thread it out and use the playlist, guess what? I'm going to go through the playlist tag and grab what I can and post it on the Leo Glossary playlist page. So if people start to look at that as a reference, hopefully we in a quick period of time, there's 30 different playlists to go from. And there'll be rock playlists, there'll be, country music all kinds of playlists, hip hop, dance, whatever. And now people can go on those playlists and look and see what other people are doing. And we can see what DJ Django is up to and the playlist he put together. And then you can see free compliments, free compliments doing the Doors, but maybe he puts together playlists on something totally unrelated. And it's like, oh, cool, look at this playlist. And the key is once they're done, yes, they're a pain in the ass, but once they're done, they're there for others to use. They're there for you to use. So what happens if we, I don't know. I mean, let's say we get 10 of these a day for 100 days. That's 1,000 playlists at, an average of 10 to 20 songs. So let's say 15, that's 15,000 songs. Maybe not all different. In fact, they won't all be different, but that's a lot of stuff that people can utilize. And you know what? Like anything else, if we start this momentum and we start people building playlists and then we start passing them around on threads and we start saying, holy crap, did you see the playlist free compliments put together? I didn't even think of that. Look at that. He has a fountain coming out of the damn thing. That's so cool. Everybody's going to run and look at his damn playlist because it's like the coolest thing we've seen since sliced bread. Get the FOMO going, get the excitement going. I mean, I was very impressed with how everybody jumped on board and started submitting music. We're at about 1,450 songs, by the way. I mean, that's a pretty impressive number in under 2 weeks. So
it's especially that it's all done by hand. I mean, this is what's great. And like you said, use the tools that we got, and until we have the ability to punch in a couple of numbers and here's our page. The fact that people are doing this by hand is amazing. So every time we start talking about this, I just have these visions of things that can be built, and that's kind of got me into trouble in the past. So I'll just calm down with this.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I have those same visions. The problem is I don't have the ability to bring those visions to fruition. So
yep, I hear you.
It's like me dreaming about supermodels. It's like, okay, this isn't get me very far. So let's focus on the task at hand. And, the task at hand is to get this Music on Leo database of threads big enough to where somebody like Lisa drops her Spotify account and or Spotify premium, whatever they call it. And there's a viable alternative on Web3, a viable alternative on Leo. Now with these playlist idea, now we have the ability. Yes, it's rudimentary. I understand that. Yes, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. But when you take the initiative and you start building these things, once it's done, it's done. And again, if you get, let's say somebody does one of these a day for the next 6 months, that's 180 playlists they have in Evergreen. You take that and you throw that out on Facebook, and maybe you get 4 or 5 people hitting it up. You start linking these, and who knows how many people show up on your playlist, especially if we keep talking about it, especially if we keep pushing it, especially if we keep threading about it, especially if we keep growing it. And all of a sudden it's like gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, hey, Django, are you building any playlists? No, I haven't gotten into that. Well, why not? Or you're sitting there saying to yourself, holy crap, look at all these playlists. I need to build one for myself, or I need to go listen to them. So the more the playlists we build, I hypothesize that we can spread around and more people will start listening to the Music on Leo. We did a good job submitting it, but I don't think many people are actually listening and using what we've created. So I'm hoping the playlist will, instigate that a little bit, because now all of a sudden Django drops that on threads and there's 15 songs that people just have to click on 15 different tabs open it up, play the song. It's right there. It's easy. It's no searching. It's great.
Is there some reason you have all the links opening new windows? Is there a reason for that?
That's a Leo thing. That's not me. That's Leo. Anytime you press a link on Leo, it opens up in a new
Really?
tab. I don't.
Wow.
I don't have any control over that. But that's a good thing because guess what? That's a page view. I mean, I guess if it opened up in the same window, that'd be a page view too. But that's not me. That's Leo. I don't have any. I didn't set it, so I think they have the site default to anytime a page.
Oh, because you're building these pages in like what code is it? It's not HTML, is it? Or
it's Markdown. It's
Markdown.
A blog post. It's a blog post.
So it's but you can underscore blank, right? That's how you get the pages to. So the default shouldn't be. I don't know. I'd have to look at the code. I do know a little bit of HTML task. Isn't that shocking?
I just do this in the publisher on Leo. I mean, this is a blog post. That's all it is. It's a blog post. I just hit the big red publish button there, and I put the title and type just like I type everything else. And it's a blog post. And that's why I said anybody can edit, their own stuff, obviously not others, but they can edit their stuff. You don't have to be a premium. It's not a thread. This is available for evergreen, all that. And I think it's a new way for content people to look at content, especially as we've preached for years, long-term growth, massive quantities. The more you do, the more you will be rewarded over time because it's more stuff that people can come across from you. It's that simple. And, as I said, because it's a blog post, I mean, there are a lot of advantages. The one disadvantage is if you do care about your blog, you might want to use an alt account. And if you don't have an alt account, contact me or Django. We got probably between the two of us, probably 3,500 accounts.
Yeah, I got more. We were talking about that in the CDB Discord today. I was like, I got more accounts. And if you need accounts, let me know.
Yeah, and we'll set you up an alt account and send you the keys, and you go and change them, and you're off and running. But I people have been asking, wouldn't it be cool if there was a playlist, if we could share with other people, if other people could see our playlist? Well, here's a way to do it. It's not the most automated system in the world. It does take a little bit of time, but also keep in mind as you're going and gathering the songs, you're also clicking on them to open them up to get the URL. So again, a lot of the traffic is us building stuff, and it counts just the same. And Django could give you he could go on forever about this, but the thing about Google is you want to make sure your traffic is, natural. It's not gamified. Yeah. So if you're bouncing around trying to grab links for your playlist, that's natural traffic because you're going all over the place and there's no pattern of abuse or gamification there. So, I just think it's something people were asking about, and now you can take the URL and you can drop it to your friends. You can drop it in other people's. You can drop it in Discord. You can drop it wherever. I mean, Django, look at the latest one I put together, and you're like, okay, cool. I know you like the same music. Here it is, and you send me yours. I send you mine. I mean, it just opens up more possibilities while we're waiting on tech.
I'm just so beside myself with the AI image that you created there. Why does it look like? What's that?
Me and Bing. I went in there and I said playlist, and that's what Bing came back with.
Well, it looks like the cover of every Journey album in history, right?
Bing must be a big Journey fan. I don't know.
Yeah, or Earth, Wind, and Fire. Journey or Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's where it is. So if you want to use another image, I would suggest if you like that image, you can certainly grab it and copy and paste it. It's up to you. You do what you want with your playlist. But see, right underneath there, Go down, go down, go down, go down. Look at that, an ad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Brilliant Earth, man. Yeah.
You
Create
want
your
more
own
page
rain.
views? There's one simple way to get more page views. Have more pages. So the more of this stuff we build, it's to our benefit, people. That's my speech. So
it's awesome,
what
bro.
what feedback have you gotten other than what free compliments?
Round of applause, definitely for Task, but free compliments really wants to know when Rick rolled on Leo. That's
When
what he
what?
really Rick roll.
What the?
You've
I
never
don't even
been
know.
Rick rolled?
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what Rick rolled is? Like Rick
No,
Astley? Never gonna give you up? No.
I know Rick Astley, but what's Rick? I don't know what the hell that means.
Well, if someone, where's the AI for this? Explain to Taskmaster what being rickrolled is. It was just like they'd say, like, "Oh, hey, check out this awesome video of like a duck, and I'm hunting a duck," and then people would click the duck, and it ended up being Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up" video.
Yeah.
So you've been rickrolled. So yeah, he wants to know when rickrolled on Leo, and
Yeah,
he's got the
well,
picture of.
you know that
Yeah.
there will be people doing all kinds of shit. We know you can't put it out in the wild and control it. But listen, it's this is what we're talking about when we say building, and many people have said,
It's Rick.
"Yeah, I know Rick. I know him. He goes back to the '80s." Um, it, now anybody can join in the building. So
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be pretty good. Token, I said it sounds like a fun Christmas because the picture that you added. I'm sure. M Coins says good to be here. Congratulations, and the free compliments was saying he said he off topic. He met Robbie Krieger, Gore's guitarist, in person a couple of years ago after the concert. He wore pajamas throughout the entire concert. He was actually a quiet, humble guy. Pulled out a pen and signed a drawing I made of him, which stunned him. Absolute legend of a person, and that's the little story for the day. So there you go. It's a good one. I like it. Sad Cry wants to know that you're dreaming about supermodels, but also, do we have the In Leo music playlist yet? No, you can create it. That's the nugget. You can create your very own playlist.
yeah, I mean I got the page where I'll keep the playlist on Leo Glossary just as a reference, so everybody's playlist is in one place, and people can go and check that as a reference. But I'm not going to sit there and make up all the playlists, and Django's not going to sit up there and make all the playlists for Leo Glossary. It's you make up your own playlist, you make up your own songs, and make your playlist how you want, and I'll put them on the page. I have no problem doing that. And you put up the music you like, and other people will either gravitate toward the music or not. But if we give enough selection there, it's like people can go through and say, oh, there's 13 hip hop playlists. Great, I'm in the mood for some hip hop. And there's a bunch of different hip hop playlists by different people who, even within hip hop, there's a lot of different genres that people like. So,
yep. Yeah, especially for the people like me that grew up in the 90s. There's only a certain playlist we appreciate when it comes to hip hop. None of the new stuff. I'm just old and grumpy. This was definitely a music centric show. Do you want to switch gears and just tackle a couple of VSC questions here before we sign off? Just to keep. Oh, there you go. Yes, free compliments. Gotta vote that. I said a hip hop, hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop. Rocking to okay. That's in a previous day. Let's scroll all the way down. Tokenize wants to know, hello, Maniacs. VSC solution different. How is the VSC solution different from the so-called pseudo smart contracts we currently have on Hive Engine?
Well, the smart contracts on Hive Engine that's it. The smart contracts on VSC, they will be able to keep expanding the smart contracts. Also, the nodes have the choice of what smart contracts they want to run on VSC. So if you have, for example, if you're running a witness node, you may not have the token creation or the wrapping smart contract on your node because you're not wrapping um, Bitcoin. Now, if you are a node that is a wrapping node, you're going to run that contract. You're probably going to run the DEX contract when that's built. But there could be other contracts other developers make that you have no inclination. Let's say somebody comes out with a smart contract relating to some type of gaming NFTs. Well, you have no interest in running that, so you don't run that. So this is going to be, from what I understand, more like the EVMs, where developers will be able to create their contracts that they want. The nodes will be able to carry the contracts that they want. And so now, hence, you get the infinite scalability, which, unlike Ethereum, if you run an Ethereum node, you got to run every smart contract. Here on BSC, you can run the smart contracts that you want. You don't need to run every one.
There you go.
So
he follows it up with
I don't think there's really much comparison between Hive Engine and BSC from what I can see.
Why did they opt for an over-collateralized system when what would be the implications if they had chosen a one-to-one system instead? See, that's all. That's Ethereum talk, man.
I think it was just really to disincentivize nefarious node operators and people getting involved with nefarious intentions, because if you're in a one for one, basically the customer doesn't necessarily lose, but the node operator could sit there and say, I don't want this HBD shit, and just, grab the Bitcoin and run. Right. So I think by twice the 2-for-1 ratio, the over collateralization, it's to really disincentivize that behavior and to make sure up front, hey, listen, if you're coming here with nefarious purposes, it's going to cost you more than you make. You're not going to break even and just walk away unscathed. It's going to actually cost you. And that's effectively what it does. So if you're dealing with a $5,000 transaction, you got 10,000 HBD as the collateralization. I mean, it's going to cost you $5,000 to be an asshole. And, so you're not breaking even in that deal.
No one wants to be an asshole for $5,000. Maybe for $5.
I do it for free.
Yeah, for free. Yeah. Regarding the Bitcoin bridge, and this is from Free Compliments, and based on my understanding from what I've read, is it expected to have feeless transactions for all BTC transfers? Also, is it supposed to be free to bring BTC onto the wallet and subsequently off the wallet? If yes, then how would RC costs be supported and node providers get paid? And if no, then what would be the incentive to use this service opposed to just improving the Lightning Network? Good question.
There will be transaction fees on BSC. They will be minimal because of the fact that the writing to Hive is minimal. It's just basically a reference. The reference to the location on IPFS. That's really what it is. So, but there will be fees. They will be very low. There could be the potentiality where there is a resource credit type system set up. It will not be at the first go. But the thought is maybe using HBD staking, where if I'm a heavy user, I can put up 250, 300 HBD, whatever, and stake that, which then gets put into savings and earns a return. And that is how the node operators are incentivized. And that would be in lieu of a direct transaction fee, because I stake the HBD, so it's similar to like a resource credit system where, it'll recharge and that whole thing. But then, of course, if I'm not a heavy user, then I may not want to do that anyway, even if that option's available, and it'll be a transaction fee. But again, don't think of VSC just as Bitcoin, because I have a feeling, and Vaultec mentioned it. Simple Games also mentioned it. Him and I talked about it on Threads one night. The move from Bitcoin to Litecoin to Doge and to any of the forks of Bitcoin is very minor. So I would not be surprised to see, once the Bitcoin is up and operating and the system is fully tested, I wouldn't be surprised if Vaultec quickly adds other coins like Litecoin, because it doesn't take it's very similar code. Right. And even he said it. So this is going to surpass Lightning very quickly in that regard. The other way it surpasses Lightning is, I mean, we set up a witness server. And I say we, I'm talking town hall, and it wasn't Django and I, it was Nifty. Django and I just said, hey, good job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good idea.
But from what I understand, it's a very, I don't want to say it's easy. None of this stuff's easy, but it's a rather simple, it's not a very technical system to run. So running these nodes isn't the end of the world. And you listen to Brian London and the nightmares he's had with running his node on Lightning Network. And Brian London's very technically inclined. And he says it's a nightmare. It's a shit network. And so what's probably going to happen to Lightning is it's going to end up being big guys. It's going to be big guys centralized. It's 100% transaction fees. There's no alternative. There's no talk of alternatives. So who's going to run these nodes in big quantities? It's probably going to be people monetizing stuff in another way, which that means usually taking your data and selling it. And who can monetize that? Banks, because they can try to sell you a savings account or a Coinbase account or whatever the case.
Mutual fund.
I think Coinbase actually runs a Lightning node. So, I mean, there you have it. They're already entering the game. Wow. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot more decentralization. You're going to see, and the other thing is KYC. Lightning nodes can be KYC'd ultimately, I believe. There's not going to be any KYC on VSC, because a lot of times you're not even going to know where the node operators are, just like a lot of the Hive witnesses. Does anybody know who the Asidio is? Does anybody know where Asidio's from? I mean, we have no clue.
Finland.
Asidio's
from Finland, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Acid's great.
So
Acid does.
So I mean, it's got potential. I mean, we'll see how things shake out. I think a lot of this is still in the works. We'll have to see what the real numbers look like. But the fact is, Vaultec's thought a lot about this. I mean, he went into on the call the other day. I mean, here's something. The multi-sig is limited on Hive. This is at the base layer to about 40 nodes. You can't have more than 40 node confirmation on multi-sig. And he, among others, is pushing, because they research and they say it's not a difficult change, pushing to implement something or other in the base code, which then would allow 1,000 nodes confirmation on multi-sig. So can you imagine if VSC got, I don't know, let's say $1 billion in wrapped coins, between, the EVMs and Bitcoin? I mean, do you want $1 billion controlled by 40 nodes, 40 multi-sigs? No. How about we have that controlled by 1,000 nodes? And that's what he's pushing. So these guys are really looking at making things secure, making them decentralized, C, making them resilient, and D, making them as a true alternative to, these other platforms that are out there that, quite frankly, aren't serving the purpose.
Yeah. Closing up here, we got a couple more though. Free Compliment said, "I guess Nifty got Town Hall on its feet." Dum
Yep.
Savvy.
That-
Savvy.
Nifty, technical, and feet. Yep, they go
Yes.
together. So
Perfect.
good call on that one. Free compliments.
I like it. That's definitely a small golf clap for comedy for the night. John Timms, friend of the show. Any ETA on when Leodex is coming back? I don't think it is. Is Leodex coming back, or are they kind of like tapped out and said we're done with this type thing?
Yeah, I think it's done. I think one of the AMAs Cal mentioned. I have a feeling Leodex is going to morph into B-Swap. I think they're just going to give it all to Gerber. Gerber's built a pretty good system there, and Gerber seems to know what he's doing. And Leodex was a great idea. I remember when Cal and I, when we first talked about it, and I said, "Listen, we got a decentralized Hive engine and at least get another way into this." And he agreed, but there's too much other stuff Leo's going on, and Gerber built something that's far superior, and everybody seems to like what Gerber did, and he has the time. So, but again, my estimate, my view is once VSC is up and running, and
that's
you have
the deal. Yep.
You have the tokenized stuff there. I would guess Leo's going to end up there, or at least Leo will also be on there. Maybe they'll have where you can have
right.
Some of your tokens on Hive Engine. You can have some of your tokens on VSC. I don't know. I guess you'd have to look at the advantages. I mean, personally, I'd say, well, let's just burn the Hive Engine stuff and just put it all on VSC. But maybe you keep it on the two and say, well, why kill it if there are people who are happy utilizing that? I don't know.
Yeah. Great show, man. I mean, huge stuff with playlists. And then just the excitement with VSC. I mean, it's a great time, and it's funny because apparently the bull market is here. Bitcoin, like all I hear is Bitcoin is over 40,000, and Bitcoin's over 42, Bitcoin's over 44. Cool story, bro. I mean, you should still be excited about this stuff if it was at $40, if you believe in it, big picture. Well, but yes, we all.
Here's the problem. This is what it does. Those people who talk about that, they're not the builders. Mm-hmm. Builders are building. Right. Bull markets is bull and bear are not builder terms. They're not business terms. Those are market terms. And this is the problem with Web3 is 95% of the people in it are just market people. They're not builders. I mean, if we had it the other way, 95% builders and 5% market people, Web3 be commonplace right now. But
yeah. Great show, man. We got a pretty special guest coming in on Thursday. It has been confirmed, so 3 steps will be here to talk about some big juicy. I come up with a new word.
Juicy. What else can we say?
Juicy.
I mean, what?
I got problems, man. Thursday. 3 steps will be.
John goes next 10 songs are all going to be Bob Dylan songs. He's going to go into the poetry.
Let's do it. Yes. Guys, have a fantastic night. We'll see you on Thursday. Toodles.
Ciao.